A 9-year-old swore eternal war on Rome at an altar soaked in sacrifice. That boy was Hannibal Barca. But here's the twist: no, one tells you Rome had already won. So why did this childhood oath nearly destroy the greatest empire in history? His father, Hamilcar, made young Hannibal place his hand on the sacrificial victim and swear he would never be a friend to Rome. Never. Think about the grudges you hold. Someone who betrayed you, embarrassed you, took what was yours. Now multiply that by an entire nation's humiliation. That's what Hamilcar felt when Rome crushed Carthage in the First Punic War. Before we dive into this untold chapter of history, take a second to support the channel. If uncovering hidden stories of survival, war, and forgotten lives fascinates you, hit the like button and subscribe for more. And drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. It's wild to think that while we're talking about the ancient past, people from all over the world are listening at the same time, connected by curiosity and a love for history. Carthage wasn't just defeated, they were humiliated. Rome took Sicily, the richest territory Carthage had. Then they demanded war reparations so massive it would take decades to pay off. But that's not what broke Hamilcar. What really killed him inside was this. While he was still fighting, still undefeated on the battlefield, Carthage's merchant elites surrendered behind his back. They chose profit over pride, money over honor. Hamilcar Barca had never lost a single battle in the entire First Punic War, not one. Yet he was forced to sail home, hand over his sword, and watch Rome parade around like conquerors. So he did what any great general does when backed into a corner. He smiled, he bowed, he waited. But Hamilcar wasn't done. Years passed, and in 237 BC, he pitched Carthage's leaders a brilliant idea: let him lead an expedition to Spain. The official story: rebuild Carthage's economy through Spanish silver mines and trade routes. The real story: build an army so strong that one day it could march straight to Rome and burn the city to ash. But Hamilcar knew something most men refused to admit. He wasn't going to live long enough to finish what he started. He needed someone to carry the torch, someone who hated Rome as much as he did. That's when little Hannibal entered the picture. 9 years old, hungry, relentless, the kind of kid who doesn't take no for an answer. Hannibal begged his father to take him to Spain. "Please, father, let me come with you, I want to fight." Hamilcar stared at his son. He saw something most fathers dream of seeing: fire that couldn't be taught. Then he made a choice that would haunt Rome for the next 2 decades. Imagine this: a temple filled with smoke, the smell of burning offerings thick in the air, priests chanting prayers to the gods. Hamilcar took Hannibal by the hand and led him to the altar where they were performing the sacrifice. He placed Hannibal's small hand on the sacrificial victim, the animal's body still warm from the blade. Then Hamilcar leaned down, looked his son dead in the eyes, and spoke words dripping with venom. "Swear to me, Hannibal. Swear that you will never be a friend to Rome. Swear that as long as you draw breath, you will be their enemy." Hannibal didn't hesitate, his hand pressed firm against the sacrifice, his voice steady. "I swear." And just like that, the oath was sealed, a promise made in blood and witnessed by the gods. But here, where things get interesting. How do we even know this story happened? The answer: we don't, not for sure. Every single account of this oath comes from Roman historians Livy, Polybius, writing decades after the Second Punic War ended. So think about that for a second. The only people telling this story are the same people Hannibal spent his entire life trying to destroy. Was it real? Or was it Roman propaganda designed to paint Hannibal as some kind of psychopath fueled by irrational hatred? Because here's the thing: if you're Rome, you need an explanation. You need a reason why one man brought your empire to its knees. You can't just say, "Yeah, he was a better general than us." That makes you look weak. But if you say he was cursed from childhood, brainwashed by his father, sworn to hate us before he even understood what hate meant, then suddenly it's not your fault. It's destiny. It's tragedy. So maybe the oath happened exactly as the Romans said. Or maybe it's just a good story they told themselves to sleep better at night. But whether the oath was real or not doesn't actually matter, because Hannibal lived like it was. After Hamilcar died in battle in 228 BC, Hannibal took command of the army in Spain, and he didn't waste time. In 218 BC, he did the impossible. He marched 50,000 men, 9,000 cavalry, and 37 war elephants across the Alps in the dead of winter. Rome thought the mountains would stop him. They were wrong. Hannibal arrived in Italy and spent the next 15 years terrorizing the Roman countryside. Battle after battle, victory after victory. At Trebia he crushed them. At Lake Trasimene he annihilated them. At Cannae, the most famous battle in ancient history, he slaughtered 50 to 70,000 Roman soldiers in a single day. Rome had never seen anything like it. Their greatest generals couldn't touch him. Their largest armies couldn't stop him. For over a decade, Hannibal Barca had Rome on the edge of collapse. All because of a promise made at an altar when he was 9 years old. But here's the tragedy. Despite all his brilliance, despite all his victories, Hannibal never took Rome. He came close, closer than anyone in history, but Carthage refused to send him reinforcements. The same merchant elites who betrayed his father now betrayed him. In the end, Rome struck back. They invaded North Africa, forced Hannibal to return home, and defeated him at the Battle of Zama in 202 BC. Carthage surrendered again. Hannibal spent the rest of his life in exile, hunted by Rome until he took his own life in 183 BC rather than be captured. But even in death, his legend lived on. Because the oath, whether real or invented, became the ultimate symbol of what one man driven by purpose can do. A 9-year-old boy made a promise at an altar, and for 17 years he kept it. Rome never forgot his name, and neither should you.